Okay, welcome to another edition of Trial by Magus. This episode is How to Uhu. I'm going to be addressing this aircraft right here, the Focke Wulf Fw.189C Uhu, or Eule. This is the Tier 4 German attacker that branches off from the Fw.57 in the heavy fighter line at Tier 3. This is the lowest tech tree aircraft, attacker aircraft for Germany in the game right now. There is one that's a lower tier, that's the HA-137BV at Tier 3. And then there's the Feisler 98 biplane at Tier 2, which has not been released yet. Now let's take a look at this thing. It is ugly as sin, first off, and it doesn't get any better when you upgrade it. The paint job featured right here is the parade tester camouflage that was awarded to alpha, beta, and open beta testers. We can take a quick look at the other ones as well. Here's the winter camouflage, and your desert, and the marine. Now I use the parade camouflage for the summer because that's the real summer camouflage. Yuck. So I'll put it back where I like it. Back to home here. Now let's take a look at what we got here. This thing has all of its guns mounted centrally in the forward part of the fuselage there. You see you got the two 20mm cannons and then a series of four 7.92mm machine guns. It has a pair of engines mounted outboard, which are fairly different in arrangement compared to anything else you're going to see in the German line. These are inline engines. The radiator inlet down in the middle here ends up looking rather like a wide open mouth. Outboard weapons available for the Uhu are 4 SC-50 50-kilogram bombs, and that is everything. The tailgunner goes from a single 7.92mm to a pair of 7.92s, which you can see right there. Also, while we're looking this close in, don't ask me how that tailgunner is supposed to get out of this thing if there is an in-flight emergency. Ditto for the pilot there. I don't see an easy-to-open hatch there. In fact, I suspect that both of those guys are expected to bail out through this panel in the bottom here. Good luck with that one. Recommended outfitting for this thing, if you're going to be keeping the aircraft, improved reflector sight, because, you know, why not? Additional armor plates. This prevents you from getting a lot of punctures in your gas tank, which I did experience a lot of when I first got the aircraft. You've got a wide set of wings on this thing. It's a really tempting target when you go to turn, and those wings are going to catch a lot of flying ammunition. And I guess it's where they decided to put the fuel tanks, because those are constantly catching fire. Armor plates help mitigate that. Reinforced covering, obvious. It reduces incoming damage and makes you a little more durable if you end up contacting an enemy plane. Other high priority upgrades. The airframe is, necessary in order to move on up towards the Henschel 129, but it nets you an extra 50 hit points, which is really nice and makes the difference in some cases. The engine upgrade didn't make a lot of difference, and the 20mm cannons made a lot of difference when I brought those in. You'll notice the ease with which you can eliminate ground targets is increased quite a bit when you upgrade to the first set of 20mm, and it gets a little bit better with the top ones, which are what you need to unlock in order to move on to the Stuka. Well, let's take a look at this thing's competition. We've got the stats over here for it, which look pretty promising right now. High hit points for the tier, high firepower for the tier. Airspeed and maneuverability are lackluster, and altitude performance is low, but you expect that anyway because it's an attacker. Let's take a look at the competition. Now, here we have the 189, the LBSH, which is the Russian premium for the same tier, 4, and the BSH-2, the Tech Tree Attacker. Now, on hit points, the 189 actually beats out the LBSH and loses out to the BSH-2. You expect that trend is going to continue the rest of the way up the line. The ILs, the Ilyushins, are always going to be more durable than your German attacker. So keep that in mind when you go head on with them, and don't ever ram one. Firepower. Well, you've got the LBSH beaten handily, and you even beat the BSH-2. So you got more firepower, less health. Airspeed, the LBSH is actually faster than you are, so you're going to have the situation of being in a German plane that is slower than a Russian competitor. It's the same speed, however, as the BSH-2. Maneuverability, 197 is your top value on the 189, 159 for the LBSH, and 139 for the BSH-2. So if the LBSH decides it wants to hang around and dogfight with you, by all means, dogfight with him, take him down. BSH-2 doesn't have much option whether it wants to hang around or not because you're faster than them. Altitude performance, you also have both of the Russian entries beaten handily. Now this right here begins the entire battle doctrine for German attackers moving up the tree. The entire idea with these is they are multi-role attack aircraft. What you want to do is prioritize yourself when you get into a fight. The first thing you're going to want to do is, if you get the opportunity, eliminate your competition. If you see a Russian attacker cut across your the front of your plane, intercept it and take it out, and then get back to what you were doing, namely taking out ground targets. Same thing goes for any fighter that is silly enough to get in front of your airplane. Shoot at it, try to take it down. Let's take a look at how this thing handles in combat. Okay everyone, welcome to National Park 2.0. That's some striking background right there. I agree that the map has its issues, but it's one of the prettiest to look at. We find ourselves here in the 189C, having spawned in the central attack aircraft path. That would be the line of attack that follows along the river that passes through the middle of the map in a meandering path. One of the issues that a lot of people have with this map is that the paths of attack are entirely predictable, depending on where you spawn. So with low population games, the overwhelming strategy is to immediately head to one of the spawn zones using aircraft from all three spawn zones, seeing as the one in the middle is the easiest to travel to. Usually that's what happens, and it devolves into a furball around Foxtrot 5 grid on your map. Now what's important here is deciding where we're going to deploy our 189. See, we've already lost an aircraft in the north, and he's uncovered a lot of enemy aircraft up there, so I have decided to go towards the north, and I am directing my team to do so as well. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to Flack Valley Express, someone I know from the Warplanes forums. He makes an appearance here, as well as a couple of other forum regulars. Joining the fight up here, I see our HA-137 is in bad shape and just got shot down. Their attackers on the enemy team are all flying low and appear to be going for air combat. So, let's go ahead and get ourselves involved here and show what the 189C can do. There's Flak Valley Express. I'm going to give him the traditional German greeting. Have a good day. Now note what I'm not doing here with the 189. I am not jettisoning the bombs. It will perform better in a dogfight. No, one moment, something's coming up. This Bristol 146 is no match for your wing. I use the stall here to get myself turned around because I've noticed there's a stupid coming up on my tail. I can't quite get the nose up to get guns on him, but I can throw my wing in his face. The 189C really is king of the aerial body slam at Tier 4. Just don't try doing it to a BSH-2. Those wings are big. Your rate of roll is very quick for an attacker, so it's pretty easy for you to swing those out in somebody's path when they go for a head-on and think they can dodge out at the last minute here. Now, Verdine and I are going to go into a chicken fight here. And unfortunately, Verdine has the 189C that is more heavily damaged at the point of contact. You're always going to take damage hitting someone else in this thing, but having the reinforced covering, I think, lends to some of this, but the aircraft is just really durable on the front end and along those wings' front edges. It'll slice through pretty much anything except that flying tank, the BSH-2. Now that all the aerial opposition is gone, let's go ahead and do what we're here to do and shoot up some ground targets. I'm prioritizing the AA guns and suffering from some lag, as you saw me correct from just there. Can't get the guns on that one, but I want to get rid of it and my bombs at this point, because it doesn't look like I'm going to need to use them to get a bomb kill on one of those fighters. Might as well drop it on one of these bunkers. To revisit an earlier point I was making, the 189C, as you've seen, is completely capable of dogfighting while carrying all 4 of its bombs. If you get yourself in a tight pinch, hell, one of those bombs that just got dropped wasn't mine. See how much damage it did to me? There's a little bit more of that lag. Now bringing around here, I see that my team's starting to have, they've closed in on both of the enemy fighters. I'm just unloading all my bombs on that hardened target, trying to get as much experience out of ground target damage as possible. This last guy's going to fight the good fight. There he goes. He's taken one of us with him. Let's try to get as much of these heavy targets damaged as I can before the time runs out. And there we go. And there he goes. Good game, everyone.